Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry and today is our final Warhammer 40K figure review from McFarlane Toys. Again, this figure and all the other Warhammer 40K figures that I have reviewed on this channel thus far have all came from a friend from work named Chris. These are from his private collection, and he's been allowing me to open these up and take a quick look at them and give my thoughts. And so far on these particular figures, these big orc figures, I'm not too impressed. But as you can see, he's a big one. Today we are looking at the Ork Meganob with Shoota. Now if you watched the previous review, which I will put up a link up at the top corner there, I wasn't happy with the last Meganob because I had a lot of issues with, and I hope I don't have those issues with this one, but it probably will be. Let's go and take a quick look at the packaging. Again, all the exact same art. We got the nice picture of the orc there on the side with his name. Nice picture of him on the back with some nice Warhammer artwork. Officially licensed product. More artwork. And of course the bottom. And yes, my friend did purchase these from GameStop. You can find them at other retailers as well, I am sure. But we will get him out of the packaging and take a closer look. Alright, and here we have our Ork Meganob with Shoota out of the packaging. And again, some assembly is required. Again, we have another backpack piece. This time, nice, different little symbol on it. You can see how you would plug it in. And I still don't understand why they have to make the hole so large in the back instead of just one peg, because there's really only one way you can put it in there. And again, these things are really loose, so I guess it makes it easier if you want to, put it back in the packaging for a later date, I guess. But still a nice little piece though. I like the way it looks on there. Just wish it would, be more secure. And again, another front piece, just like the last one we looked at. One of these, and you remember how much trouble I had trying to peg that in, where I just gave up trying to put it in. So let's see, and as you can tell, it looks like I'm gonna have the same problem where it got bent in quite a bit. So I want to use some hot water or a hair dryer at a low setting to get that more pliable. But let's see if we can't get this thing on, but it should just slide into these grooves here. Unless you just want to set it like that, I guess that would work too. But I'm pretty sure it's supposed to slide in those grooves because of those nice little divots on that. So let's see if I can't manage to get this on. And what do you know, rejoice, this one actually was able to peg in a whole lot easier than the last one. So your version may vary when picking this up. Some might go in easier, some you might have to kind of mess with, and I'm not comfortable with messing with it since it is not my actual personal toy from my own collection. So I will leave that to Chris to fix on his own and figure out how to get it in on the other figure. But this one went in so much easier. Definitely in the grooves. Was not much of a pain in the butt, and I didn't even have to heat it up to loosen it up at all to make it more pliable. But yeah, it's in there pretty good. Now it will pop out real easy if you just tug on it just a bit more. I'm not going to give too much force, but we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the deco on this figure. And again, it's really nice. kind of with the gunmetal, the detail. It's got more crimson touches to it. And if you haven't noticed, they're all pretty much reusing the exact same sculpt, but they have different panels here. This one has one with horns on it to match his little flag here. One just had a big brass piece, and another one had like a skull and crossbones, but they look like wrenches. So got that going, but it still has the same kind of slight black wash on the skin. He only has one eye painted. The other one is closed, so kind of hard to paint it when it's closed. Yeah, but that's one thing McFarlane Toys have not failed on so far in this line, is the amount of paint work and the detail. Again, these hoses are pliable plastic, very nicely done. The paint, I love the silver, or again more gunmetal. This is more shiny, more metallic-y than the rest of it. A nice little detail paint here, some teeth on his knee pad there on his boot. But as for articulation, it's exactly the same as it was with the other two figures. We have rotation at the head, but you can only go so far, left and right or up and down, however you want to mention it. There's no tilting or anything. Doesn't seem like it's on a ball joint or anything, probably just a peg. For the arms, again, slight butterfly, but again, doesn't seem like it does any good or make any difference. You have a hinge at the elbow, which are super tight on this one. Oh, which does not want to move for me. Again, no bicep swivel, but there is a hinge, but be careful of the piston here on that barbell, that ball joint there that plugs into there. So be very careful with that, and try not to don't try to mess with the tolerance too much. And there is, at least I hope it was on the other ones. Yes. Again, very tight when you first get him out of the package. But he does have a glove rotation on both of his hands. This one's actually, his left one was a bit looser, which is great. I appreciate that. For the waist, again, it looks like it's the same kind of ball joint, and I just knocked the jaw piece here out of the, told you it could pop right out. We're going to remove that since it's kind of in the way for right now. We'll put it back on later. But again, the waist, you can, move left to right. Just slight crunch, but it's not going to hold itself at all. For the legs, again, it goes about that far outward because of the brackets here on the legs. It does have a single jointed knee, and it is pretty ratcheted. This one's actually probably one of the looser knees so far out of these figures, and it does seem like this has popped out a bit on this figure. I don't know if that's able to be fixed or not. No, I think that's supposed to be out that far. I could be wrong. But yeah, I do have slight rotation, but you don't want to really mess with it too much because of this. It doesn't give you a lot of give. Again, there is no boot rotation, but there is a hinge at the boot, at the toe as well. But again, super tight, and it does move side to side on the feet as well. And I want to say, and it looks like it might, yes, on his claw here, we do have a little bit of articulation on both blades, so you can get some extra movement with this. So he has probably a little bit better articulation than the other ones. Just a little bit, maybe not as much, at least more so than the second one we have reviewed in these orcs. Yep. And again, standing them shouldn't be this much of a pain. But like I said, the ankles are really tight. Just trying to get him where he's flat-footed enough and more level, like so. Isn't that hard? Just trying to get those in place. And we'll go ahead and try to put this back on again, since I did pop it right out. And you can see, because it is kind of inward, just because of it being in the packaging, it does make it a little bit more difficult to get it back into those slots. But just be patient and start with one side and push in. One side on him is a lot tighter than the other. He seems to have a little bit of plastic strand residue from painting. Maybe some brush bits got loose on him, but he doesn't feel tacky to me, so that's a good thing. But as you can see, yep, he's back in. Jaw piece there, or jaw guard, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you would call that. But little armor there on his face, back in place. At least his will go in. Now for comparison, we'll go ahead and bring out the other two orcs, starting with this big boy here, our Ork Big Mech, and of course our Ork Meganob with Buzzsaw, whose jaw piece I can still not get on. So you have a nice little army with their individual, well, a couple of them have insignias. The other one looks like he's a Frankenstein, like he just brings something to life. A science experiment on him. And of course, more size comparison, we'll bring up our battle sister. I keep forgetting her name. And then of course our Flight 1. Put here. And of course, last but not least, probably my favorite figure in the whole set that I've reviewed from the McFarlane one is our Gene Stealer. I just really like the design work on him and the paint work on him. He's just really a frightening creature, but he is a bit of more of a pain to stand because of his ankles. His ankles really get loose after standing him like this, so be careful with that. You will. And of course, last but certainly not the least, is our Joy Toy Marine, which is a 1/18th scale figure, which all these guys just happen to tower above. All in all, it's been a fun week of reviews. I never would have thought about picking these guys up before, but I would like to thank my friend Chris from work, who, and yes, that's all I'm going to let me known as, is Chris from work, for lending me these figures to unbox and go through and review. And like I said, I'm not a big Warhammer guy. I've played some demos of some of the video games in the past for like the 360, and they were okay, but still not really my cup of tea. But yeah, I think out of all these, I think, you know, all in all, I am happy that I got to review these and, you know, kind of broaden my horizons just a bit more, especially in the 7-inch scale line, considering the majority of the 7-inch stuff I will be getting will be the Super 7 Ultimates, and probably, give or take, maybe some McFarlane stuff here and there, whatever tickles my fancy. But I would like to thank everyone for joining me for this week of Warhammer, or Warhammer week, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know in the comments which of these figures were your favorite, what ones will you be picking up or why you won't be picking them up. Me, again, like I said, I'm not a Warhammer guy, so it's kind of an easy pass for me. But for a Warhammer collector, I can see the appeal. But other than that, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and please come back again for many good videos. And peace out.